Today, we're making esquites. We're gonna focus on side dishes because so often we smoke food, we cook burgers, we cook hot dogs, we cook sandwiches, we cook meats, but we don't do enough side dishes. So most everybody's familiar with the elotes, and that's a roasted corn on the cob with the husk pulled back, and then this amazing crema sauce on it, this cream sauce, and then they roll it in a grated cheese. It's absolutely delicious. Esquites are essentially the same thing, but served off the cob in a dish, a little easier to eat. When you eat elotes, it's inevitable you're gonna end up with that crema all over your face. So to make this, it's gonna cook pretty quick and easy, so we're gonna get all of our ingredients ready to go. You want some mayo, equal parts mayo and some Mexican crema. When you look for this Mexican crema, it's in your grocery store. It'll typically be backed by the sour creams and whatnot. It may also be in the produce section if they have a small international area in that produce section. You want to get the one that is sort of runny. When you shake it, you should hear it shake almost like a protein shake or something. It is not the consistency of sour cream, though they do have some cremas that are. You don't want that. You want one that's a little bit more liquidy. That makes this a lot easier. We're just going to use frozen corn. I have a packet of frozen corn here. I prefer frozen over canned, and I just didn't want to take the time to cut all these off. Plus, our youngest granddaughter just had her braces taken off, and she can't wait to have corn on the cob. So we'll be roasting this weekend for her. And then the last thing is we're going to get some cotija cheese. Cotija cheese is this sort of dry, flaky cheese, a little bit like Parmesan cheese if you think of that artificial crap you sprinkle out of that can. It has that same texture, but it has a great flavor. And then you can do toppings as you wish. We're gonna do a little bit of grilled onions with some of this corn, and we're only gonna do that in some of these servings because I know my wife doesn't care for that. And then you can put all kinds of chili powders, spices, lime seasoning. There's all kinds of things you can add to this. We're gonna keep this one pretty plain, but feel free to doctor yours up the way you enjoy it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna begin to prep our ingredients. Because this cooks so darn fast and it assembles quickly, we wanna sort of have everything ready to go. So before we even put the corn on the griddle, or the onions, we are gonna make the crema as well. So I'm gonna just take a couple of onions and cut them fairly small. And this is because I want to griddle these. And again, I'm going to do this on the portion that myself will eat. I know Deb doesn't care for it. So we're just going to cut a few of these up. And again, not to be any specific way, but because I want these all to sort of work pretty well eating with a spoon, I'm going to cut these to about the same size as a nibble of corn. That way they will easily fit on the spoon and it'll be a uniform sort of size and texture as you're eating it. You would probably do, if you were doing a whole bag, a pound bag of corn, frozen corn, you would probably do 3/4 of a large onion. I am doing just a fourth of one or so because I'm only going to put this in my portion. We have our corn here. This is nothing more than a bag of frozen corn. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, though we're not going to get ready to cook it yet. So now we want to put together our topping, and this is just going to be equal portions of mayo and crema. So I'm just by the way, use whatever mayonnaise you want. I'm not a big fan of doing Miracle Whip on this. Honestly, Duke's mayonnaise is probably the best. We still have a full thing of Hellmann's, so I'm not gonna get the Duke's until we use this up. So I'm just gonna go with 2 sort of heaping tablespoons here of our mayo, and then we're gonna do about the same amount. When you get this, make sure you shake it, and again, you can hear that that's somewhat liquid. That's what we definitely want with this. All right. Now, you saw that was heaping. This is not going to be a heaping spoon, so I'm going to do double this when it's kind of an even size spoon here. All right, that feels pretty close to equal, and we're just going to whisk this up. Now, you definitely want to season this up the way you sort of see fit. I'm going to add just a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, and we're going to add in some of this tahini. This is an amazing sort of lime chili flavor. It's also good to sprinkle on at the end. This is what a lot of times elotes will be sprinkled on after it's rolled into the crema. Let me go ahead and add some of this as well. Now I'm just going to do a little bit for some color, and then people can add what they want on their own. There you go. That's about the consistency we want. So, a little thicker than the crema, certainly thinner than mayo. All right, so it really is that simple. We'll set this aside. We've got a little bit of lime to garnish at the end, some more tahini to put right on top when we get ready to serve, and we've got our onions prepped and our corn ready to go. our cotija cheese will sprinkle in layers as we're actually assembling this. So let's go ahead and get the griddle fired up. We're going to get the onions on in one section and put the corn in the other before we mix these guys together. All right, so we want to put a very small amount of oil. When I say small amount, I mean not very much. We don't want to have this tasting oily. As a matter of fact, we're going to use some butter in here as well. Let's get that spread about a bit. We're going to start with our onions here. So with these on, we're also going to go ahead and put our corn down now as well. Yeah, I almost touched that. That wouldn't have been very smart. Now I'm going to spread these out in sort of a close to a single layer here. Now one of the things I like to do with the corn is I like to add just a little bit of water. You can put a little steamer basket over the top. Not much here, but a little bit. That steam will help get these things nice and moist and tender. Then we'll let that dry out so we get a nice char to them as well. There you go. We've got a nice little bit of water on those. That's perfect. That'll steam right on out of there. Now I just have these two burners on right here. I don't have the ones to the right of these on. Just flip these onions a bit. Butter makes almost everything better, so I do like to add just a bit of butter to my onions as they get a little closer to being done. And then I'll do the same thing with the corn as well. Now I'm cooking these onions up in this upper corner here where it's a little bit cooler here than back here in the center. These things really will take, 3 to 5 minutes. We don't want them to be soft, almost like canned corn is. We want them to have a little bit of a bite to them. Not quite there, but very close already. Because they are so close, I'm going to get some butter thrown right into there for some flavoring. And I'm not going to salt or pepper the corn because we did that to the crema, so that will be layered in. Nice corn in there, that's looking good. All right, these onions are just about the way we want to see them. So I'm just going to get a small little container here. We're going to get these guys put right in there. Now this is exactly what we want to see. See how they almost look a little bit creamy there? That's perfect. Give one of these guys a try. Let's make sure that they're cooked the way we want. Perfect. Just a little bit of a bite still, but not crunchy. There we go. That's looking good. Now we're just going to go ahead and get these guys put right into our bowl here. All right, just turn the griddle off, and here's what we have. We have our roasted corn. We have our grilled onions, and we have our crema mixture. Remember, this is a nice consistency here. This is kind of what we want to see. We have our cotija cheese, and we have our tahini and lime. So let's go ahead and start prepping this. It really is pretty simple. I got a couple of nice little bowls here. I like doing the glass bowls. It just presents nicer. You can certainly do it like in a mason jar or something like that, but I'll tell you, doing something that's clear on the outside just makes these look a little more pretty. Straight sides is even better because you can see the layers a little more so than you'll be able to in these. We're going to start each of these things with adding some corn in here. We just want to layer a couple of spoons of it, not a whole lot. Nice even layer there. Now remember, mine's going to be the one on this side, so I'm going to add just a bit of these onions. Not a lot, just going to sort of, actually, I'm going to put them in there and mix them in a little bit. So next thing we want to do is we want to put in just a little bit of this cotija cheese. And I mentioned before, this is a very flaky sort of cheese. You can see it's almost the texture of like Parmesan. We don't want a whole lot because we're getting quite a bit of these flavors as we layer it, and we're going to sprinkle some on top also. And now we're just going to add our crema to this. And we want to do it in sort of a layer. So you can see here, I'm going to move it around a little bit. Now for this one, we're going to do the exact same thing. We get a nice big scoop of this, and we're just going to let it dollop in here and kind of drizzle around this whole thing. Add in some more corn on each one. And again, for mine, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle my onions on here. I like to have just a layer of these guys on here. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the cotija cheese, and we're gonna add some more of our crema as well. Same thing, we wanna just sort of take this and spread it all the way around the top here. We're just gonna sprinkle a small amount on here for texture and look. Now, the tahini. This is such a good flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle it on mine, not on Deb's, because I don't know that she'll like it, so she can put it on there as she wants or as she sees fit. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to get a little bit of lime. I think the lime is an amazing flavor squeezed right onto these. And when I do these, I like to almost serve it like you would a cocktail. I just split this over the side, so when you serve this to somebody, they can then decide how much they want to squeeze into their elotes. Sorry, esquites. And now the best is yet to come. So we're going to take this and we're just going to squeeze some of our lime juice right over the top of this. Now we mix it up and we enjoy. And just like that, it's time to give this a shot. I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze just a little bit more lime on the top of this now that I mixed it in. And listen, this isn't healthy for you. Let's start with that. By the way, you can garnish this with cilantro or anything else you want to put on top, but it's pretty good just the way it is. My gosh, that's good. That is so good. It reminds me a little bit, when we lived in Texas, there was this grocery chain. It was a Hispanic grocery chain called Fiesta. And out in front of Fiestas, they would always have little booths where people were maybe selling music or trinkets or whatever items were for sale. They almost always had a big roasted corn cart, you know, big giant rotisserie. They'd have, I don't know, let's say 100 ears of corn in there, and then they have a prep station. And they'd take that ear of corn, they'd slide it back, dip it down in that crema, and just brush it up on there, and then roll it in whatever you wanted. Roll it in tahini, roll it in Parmesan or cotija cheese. Back then, I thought it was Parmesan. But they would put whatever flavors you wanted on. Chopped jalapenos, no problem. Bacon, no problem. Like, it just covered it. It was an amazing thing. You see people walking around eating these things. They looked absolutely delicious. And the first time I got one, I was like, man, this is good. But I was walking through that grocery store and I kept going like this. I'd have, you know, you're eating it off a corn on the cob, so you eat it and you have this like crema all over your face, and it was so hard to do. And if you had a mustache or beard, forget about it. All right, another bite of this. This is a good side dish. By the way, quick and easy. You can do this next to burgers while you're cooking them. What a great side for burgers or tacos or quesadillas, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a Latin or Mexican food. It's good either way. Esquites. What a side dish. How good is this with almost any kind of grilled or barbecued food? Whether it's steaks, pork chops, brisket, chuck roast, it doesn't matter what you have this with. It would be phenomenal. And it's real quick and easy to make. Hope you enjoyed it. Try some esquites. All right, one more bite.